Hey, this is Mike from Absolute Comfort and Son Heating and Cooling. We're in York, Pennsylvania. We service the York, Lancaster, and Hanover area for all your HVAC needs as far as residential replacement, maintenance, and repair. We're open 24/7, and we change lives 1 degree at a time. That's what we're here to do. You can get a hold of us at 717-814-2070 or 818-1785. Our website is absolutecomfortandsonllc.com, and we can reach 24 hours a day.
Development, right?
What's going on, y'all? Welcome to another Road to Results podcast. I'm Rhy. That's Ray. That's Ray. I'm Rhy. Either way, you slice the pie. And again, this is the Road to Results podcast, uncovering the mindset journey. Yes, uncovering the mindset journey. If this is your first time rocking with us, we are doing a 52-week documentation of our experience in real time, in real life, in the UOU Mastermind under the leadership of Dr. Eric Thomas and Associates, E.T. the Hip Hop Preacher. And we are sharing with you all the ups, the downs, and the highs, the lows, and all the different things that we are experiencing as we again are on our road to results. But yeah, I'm excited. It is definitely a beautiful day to be alive. It's a beautiful time to be alive. What's up, Ray? What's going on with you? Again, I love the look at that, man. You are looking extra crispy right now on camera. Extra crispy, fam. What's up, bro?
Hey, that's what we talk about, man. We talk about the road to results. Hey, it's slow progress. Hey, even if it took us 30 some odd weeks to finally get crispy, hey, that just means they stick to it. But man, blessed. I would be remiss in this is where we end up going stewardship, but we wouldn't be stewarding this pod correctly if we didn't just say shout out to Mama.
Yeah,
on her B-Day. Happy birthday, Mama. Thank you for bringing this man, this brother into my life, into this world, and giving us his blessing. So happy birthday, Mom. Pray you have a blessed day. We love you, all our podcast listeners and family love you for bringing this man into this life. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy birthday, Ma. On the time of this recording, it is your birthday, and we are doing this for you. Yes, we are doing this. Right. Oh, we got a phone call. So with that being said, as we are just winding down into the end of this month, the last month or almost the last month of the year, right? End of November, going into December.
Hold on, bro. We got a special guest on the pod right now.
We got a special guest on the pod.
Mr. Carl Wesley Phillips. What's up, man?
Not much. Y'all recording?
Yeah. We just jumped on, but you're always welcome to bless us with a word. But if I need to mute, I will mute and let Rhy carry this. But before we do, I just need you to go ahead and share a word with this Road to Results family.
Road to Results family. First of all, y'all doing exactly what y'all need to do right now, and that's immerse yourself in the right environment. I'll share this. Right, I was watching a movie this weekend with my family, and it was funny. It was a B movie. Let me set the tone. It was a B movie, and it was like a B Christian movie. So we're just sitting there kind of watching. And I really expected, I'm just showing you, I'm talking about environment, just so you guys don't miss what I'm saying. I'm watching the movie thinking, oh, this chick is about to go do this. She about to cheat. And I'm sitting here thinking yo, Carl, this is a Christian movie. How is your mind going to that? Why isn't your mind just locked into the Christian principle that is pushing? And the movie was super clean. My kids, I didn't bat an eye. But it just showed me that I'm not consuming all pure stuff because my mind was allowed to go to a place that the image, the TV, nothing in the environment sent my mind there, but my mind is anticipating something that wasn't even there. So it was just a lesson for me, you probably should be watching more of these Christian B movies so your mind is where it needs to be. So just encouraging you guys, man, stay in the right environments. I don't care if Ray says something you heard last week. If Ryan says something, care if I said something. The fact of the matter is you're in the environment where it's reinforcing positive stuff, growth, and that's it. Yeah, that's where you need to be. So, yes, sir.
Y'all heard it. Y'all heard it.
Yeah,
All right, hey, I'm going to go on mute for just a second. Right, you take that where you
no
need to
worries.
take that.
I got you, bro. I got you. All right, y'all. So while my man is handling his business, again, road to results, this is what happens. And this is why it's really important to, number one, I love what Carl said, your environment. And this is why, though, we talk about uncovering the mindset. Right, uncovering the mindset. If Ray and I can share one thing with you that is probably one of the most crucial things before anything else at all in business and relationships and spiritual development and personal development, everything starts with mindset. When you change your mindset, you change everything. Yes, you change everything. And that is why, again, uncovering the mindset journey. And as we're talking about our different mindsets, it's really unwiring. Well, let me start, not even that. Like, let's start by unpacking. First, we got to unpack all of the things that are there. So in that level of self-awareness, we got to see all the different ways that we used to think, all the different ways that we used to like move. And so that's what I love what Carl just said. He's like, his brain automatically went somewhere that was very far from what was actually happening in the movie. So how many times does it take for, like, even think about us, right? Like when I do workshops with students, do you know how many seconds, how long before your brain automatically starts to judge someone or something as soon as you see it? Take a guess. If you can, just go ahead and drop it in the chat. Take a couple seconds. Again, how many seconds does it take your brain before it makes a judgment or an assumption on someone or something? All right, it's within the first 7 seconds. So what Carl was sharing earlier was that he's watching this movie, and it was a Christian movie, but yet his mind, as soon as he saw something in the movie happening, it went to this idea that this lady was going to cheat or do something that she shouldn't be doing. And then in his mind, he caught it and was like, yo, wow, that's true. Like, we got to catch ourselves, because that's the way our mind works. So anytime we go somewhere, anytime we do something, in that first 7 seconds or less, yes, some of us, even in that 5 seconds, we're already assuming or judging something or someone. And like the saying goes, never judge a book by its cover. And I always say, I finish it with, because if you do, you're going to miss out on a lot of great stories. And just think about a time even in your life where maybe someone judged you or assumed something about you just because of maybe the way you look, the way you walk, the way you talk, all the different things about you. And so just understanding that and having that understanding of like, this is the way the brain is wired, is a reminder that we got to be cautious of it. We got to be aware of it. But more importantly, how are we going to start unpacking, right? So that, we can rewire how we look at things. Now, of course, there are things that the way we naturally respond, that are helpful, that can be super helpful in the different situations we're in. However, we got to just be mindful of what are the ways that when we look at things or when we approach situations that are kind of just so automatic for us, but that don't really serve us. And we can take that back into all the different ways in our businesses, in just our relationships, even in our development. Right, let's think about, like, I just did this shout out to Mellissa Thomas. I was a guest on her show, Getting the Win. All right, y'all, Getting the Win show. Definitely give her a follow. And we were just really talking about how when it comes to procrastinating, what we're really talking about is just seeing the behaviors and the patterns that we have and not addressing them. Like, if you think about all the different things that hold you back and all the different reasons why you don't finish what you started, when you think about all the different ways that, you look back and you're like, wow, I can't believe I didn't get that done yet, or I can't believe I didn't get that started. Well, it's the wiring. It's our mindset. Because whatever we set our mind to, everything else will follow, right? The head and the heart are two of the strongest organs in our bodies. But at the end of the day, it's like that whole concept of the what you think you become, right? And become your habits, and your habits become your character. All I can't remember exactly what it is. It's about your thoughts, but it all starts with your thoughts. So I'm going to invite you as we're going into this last month of the year. I'm just going to do a little recap for myself. People are like, how is your fourth quarter going? And I know we just got done wrapping up kind of, Cyber Monday, Black Friday. And to be honest, for me, I really wasn't pushing sales. And if you were, like, no knock, it wasn't for me the right time. The old me would have saw everyone around me and be like, okay, what can I throw out? What kind of specials can I do? But honestly, like for me, this fourth quarter, again, full transparency, everything that I did in the second and third quarter of this year landed me the opportunities in this fourth quarter that we were working for. One of them being the opportunity in Indianapolis. It was at Lucas Oil Stadium, Indiana Convention Center. 12,000 plus youth at this conference. And when I think about just the road to getting there, it wasn't really on my radar. Well, let me take that back. It's on my vision board, right? It's on my vision board. And it's on the list of, of events and organizations that I want to serve with. But it wasn't in the plan for 2023. However, when we started doing the work in Q2, when we started doing the work in Q3, Q4 really has just been the fruition of the vision that was put on my heart, not just years ago, not just this year, but even years ago. So, so again, it was a super exciting opportunity. I got to lead 2 large breakout sessions. All right, not on the main stage yet, not on the 50-yard line yet. That's where the main stage keynotes happen. But just to get my foot in the door and just to be able to get the exposure and the opportunity, speaking about 2 things that are near and dear to my heart: emotional intelligence and evangelization. Emotional intelligence and evangelization. And one of the things that came up for me as I was thinking about how do I want to move forward, because now, a lot of new contacts, a lot of new opportunities. Was crazy. I actually got approached by one of the groups and the organizations out there. And it's still, of course, still early, but they were asking if, my 2024 was already filled up. And so I paused for a moment. In my mind, it's like, I only got maybe first and part of second quarter. But his approach to me was kind of like, oh, I hope there's space. Like, hoping that you still got some availability. And that for me was a sign of like the way I put myself out there, as hard as I've been working, the content that I'm delivering, the connections that I'm making, and the way I'm showing up in space actually is letting people know like, oh, okay, I see now why he's here, or I see, or, who is this guy? We want to know more about him. And so it was definitely humbling to get a bunch of inquiries after the fact. And I captured a lot of information, captured a lot of emails, phone numbers that I'm going to put into my CRM, right? To put into the system. But here's the crazy part. So the event that this gentleman was talking about, they do in Missouri. I never been to Missouri in my life. I had never been to Missouri in my life. But he said, yeah, it's a pretty big event. It's a little bit bigger than this one. I said, really? Because this was big, 12,000 plus. He said, total? Bro, right. He said in total, this event is 60 to 70,000 people. 60 to 70,000 Christians, y'all.
1,000?
60 to 70,000. They got 85 acres. And he said, I would love for you to be part of our high school and young adult track. And he said, you brought something that was different. The way your energy, who you are, your charisma is something that a lot of my kids loved. And then just getting kind of the feedback from the adults that were there. So again, as we're talking about, I'm just talking about fourth quarter. I wasn't really big on like selling anything per se or making any offers for like, Black Friday and all the things, because number one, everything that I was preparing for in fourth quarter is actually coming to fruition. All the speaking engagements. Matter of fact, in 2 days of the time of this recording, I'll be doing my last travel ministry of the year. I'm going to Texas. I got 2 more events out there, and then I'll be done for fourth quarter in terms of speaking. And then from there on, then I'll start planning the offers for Q1 at Q2. Because again, Q1 and Q2 are kind of already kind of full. So so it's more of now just like taking a break, taking a pause, getting that breath. But 60 to 70,000. And he was like, yo, we do a praise and worship that starts at 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's called Soul to Soul. And this is a majority Vietnamese community. And I said, I'm not Vietnamese, right? He goes, oh no, it's cool. You good. He goes, and he was like, people think I'm Filipino, and he was Vietnamese. And he was like, nah, we're good. He goes, our kids, our youth and young adults that were here really enjoyed your presentation on mental health and evangelization, and really, asked if you can come next year to our event. And he said it was like camping outside. I was like, bro, I'm cool. John the Baptist. Like, I get it. I'll be out there in the wilderness. And he was like, no. He's like, no, we got a room for you. He's like, we'll put you in the room.
Rhy's going to be out there living on locust and honey.
Locust and honey, bro. But then, so again, my biggest takeaway, and I wanted to share this on the last pod, was that, so now that we're moving into kind of this new chapter, right? EQ and evangelization. I have two separate Instagram accounts intentionally, because one is just pure faith-based and one is pure EQ. But my YouTube channel, I'm bringing that back out. I started repurposing old content, and that's actually going to be the space where I'm putting both on there, the EQ and the evangelization, because those are, again, both two things that are near and dear to me. And what I've learned, and Ray, I'd love you to speak on this, is that I'm going to attract who I attract, and I'm going to repel who I repel. And there's no other way I could be. So if you're someone stuck in that identity crisis, if you're someone stuck, wanting to wanting to impress or get approval from other people, and you're moving because of what other people are thinking and because they're going to hire you on or not hire you on, don't do it. Don't do it, because it not only takes a lot of time and energy, but at the end of the day, you got to look at yourself and be like, yo, am I being my full authentic self, or am I holding back, playing small because I think that's what people want to see, or because I don't want to offend anyone, or because I don't, want to lose followers.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. Like I jumped in right towards the end. I was trying to look it up just to make sure that I had it right. But you're talking about you're saying like changing the way you think. What were you?
Yeah, because for a
just
while,
give me the cliff of what you're.
Yeah, just this fact that no matter what it is, like what's on your heart, and we talk about it, passion and gift. But I think it's just like sometimes people don't want to be their full authentic selves.
Okay.
Because they're worried about what other people think, but not just of what they think, because they might not get an opportunity, or they might not get a gig, or whatever, a sale, because of what people might think or how they see them.
Yeah. So there's we'll start there, and then we'll go with the other half of that, just as far as being who you are authentically in your environment. So it's Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I'm sure other people have mentioned it, but it talks about your personality is based off your personal reality. So
say that one more time.
Your personality is a product of your personal reality. So where you spend your time, where you give your energy, the things that you consume, and we had the blessing of Carl calling. Hey, there's certain people that are going to call on this that they're free to interrupt. Carl called and he gave just the things that he was exposed to. So your personality is the product of your personal reality. So the way you think, the way you speak, the way you act, the people that you allow in your environments, your ear gates, your eye gates, all those things create your personal reality. So if you don't like the experience you're currently having, you need to change. A lot of times we want to redirect and say, these are the reasons why. And part of your personal reality of understanding that you may not feel that you're good enough to be your authentic self, and that you aren't enough, is because of the things that around you are telling you that you're not. The people that you spend your time with, or the things that you watch and consume, are always based off comparing. The comparison is a thief of joy, and you feel that whatever it is that you have is not enough, and you got to focus on developing some sort of external validation from somebody else to go ahead and believe in yourself, when realistically and ideally, you were created to be enough. And I was actually talking to Carl this morning about one of the exercises we want to do when we open up at Carl's event, which is, bro, we fly out next Thursday. Like, it's right around the corner. Is kind of one of the things that we've taken from the mastermind with Mignon. And they were talking about the Patreon was, what is your name? What does your name mean? And then, strip away everything else that you feel you have in your life. So, hey, we'll even say this to our family out here, and to our podcast land is, what is your name and what does it mean? Start there and strip away all those things where we say if you feel the level of you don't feel valid in who you are and what you're created to be and the experiences that you're currently having. Why strip away everything, the titles, the possessions, the experiences, your past, your expectations of your own future, and just strip away all of that and just your name. And right, what did we say last? Be where your feet are. Be who you are presently. And add that whole position of I am. And we're looking at John and the I am statements, the 7 I am statements. I am the salt and the light of the earth. I am a good shepherd. All those things, like, that is you. That is who you are. That is who you're created to be, to make you understand that you are enough. And grow in that piece of who you are. Like, look at the things. Again, we'll go back to the assessment. If you need some help, the assessment. DiscoverYourDis.com. Both Ryan and I are certified in that flight assessment. We can help you. But understand who you are without being a mother, a father, a husband, a wife, a son, daughter, an employee, employer, all those things, and understand who you are. And as you continue to develop yourself, you will see where your values and your gifts are magnified. And you start to become confident. But it honestly, it takes work to strip away all these things, bro. Like, all these things that make us feel valid in what it is that we are and that what we do and the value we provide this world. Like, we looking at all these external efforts and energy, and we forget that it all starts with us. It all starts in here. It all starts with, bro, and it takes a lot of it, which you talk about all the time. It takes a lot of that EQ, because as you start to do that dig and you start to strip away all these other things, that AQ, that adversity quotient, starts to build up because you have resistance, because you may not like some of those things, and that's fine. But that's where that work is. That's where that doing the prep work comes in, where you can strip away all these things, let your emotions be your emotions, but understand why they're there, and then start building on the things that you may feel that you're lacking. Not by comparison, by understand this is the things that truly bring me joy on the inside. And this is, we'll go to what we're talking about in the Sunday coaching call. It's like, start to steward your gifts in your environment and the things that you have naturally that brings value and that brings joy to you internally, so that externally you're validated, not by everybody else, but you see the fruits of your labor, the labor of developing. That's it. And this is, bro, it's right there, that spirituality side, as far as when you are renewed, when you become anew, when you are a newborn believer, it is a lot of work, and it takes work through grace to grow who you are. That is biblical. It takes work, an extraordinary amount of work, to grow and give yourself that grace. You've been given grace, so take that grace and grow, but it takes a lot of work to do that. But if you have that EQ, you can deal with the adversity that's going to come up with you internally, because you're going to realize there's a lot of things, there's a lot of relationships, there's a lot of things in your environment that are not allowing you to be the most, what is it, like, just to be the most valuable and natural and authentically who you were designed to be and who we need you to be. So that's a long answer, because it just is, bro, it's so rooted in what we do. Yeah. Regardless of what space we're in, it's so rooted in what we do, to understand that it's what Carl said. You may have heard Ryan Ray say it last week. You may have heard me say it. It starts with you and developing who you are, so that you can become enough for those that are around you. Yeah. And if those that are around you don't want you to do that, that's when you start stripping away the people that are in your environment. And not everybody gets to go. Jessica Holly. Everybody can't go. Everybody can't go.
And I want to just even emphasize, at one point, something came up for me while you were sharing, and thank you for that. Always dropping gems. And like Carl says, whatever we say, we're going to repeat ourselves. That's just a given, right? Because we want repetition deepens the impression. But something that you said about being alone, about the validation, about how we seek, other people's validations and all the things, the affirmations. and you talk about being biblical. Well, this is, just to keep it super simple. What did Jesus do pretty much almost all the time after or before some type of miracle or a service? Like, he went away to pray by himself. It's like, let's take that in for me.
Dolo.
He went away to like be by himself. And I think that was part of his, obviously he was praying and he was connecting with God the Father. But I think it was more of just an example from our human side to say it's okay to be alone. And matter of fact, it's when you are alone is when, because you take all those external factors out of the validation piece, because when you are alone is when you will really see where you are for reals. And then the second piece I love that Jesus always did, anytime there was a miracle or something that happened, what did he tell the people he healed or that witnessed it? Don't tell anybody.
Don't tell nobody.
I mean, for real, like, how many of us could do those two things right there? Be alone on purpose after or before these events and miracles and things that are happening. And then when they do actually happen, tell the people that's there and that maybe experience it not to say a word or not to bring Jesus into it. Now, I don't know if he was doing some reverse psychology. I always think about that whenever I hear those in the scripture. I'm like, was Jesus saying that because he really wanted people to do it? Or was that also that like human side of him saying, no, like, this ain't meant, I'm not doing this because I want people to know. And I think that's where many of us struggle. Many of us struggle with that because, again, social media, whether it's your vacations, the restaurants you eat at, the places, you go, the things you have. And again, I'm not knocking it, but I think the lesson here, just kind of going into this new year, like we go into this Kobe year. So you're going to hear a lot of Kobe themed principles, right? Going into 24, Kobe didn't care who was there and who wasn't. Kobe didn't care. Like, I mean, he was there to practice. He observed who came, who didn't, who showed up, who didn't. But at the end of the day, like, he didn't mind being on a solo. He didn't mind not going on trips with other NBA players during the holidays and during the off season. He didn't mind that. So he had his own version of being solo. He had his own version of to the world. And so that's going to be my invitation to all of us. Like, can we find ways to be stripped away from all the things that the world wants us to get validated and affirmed? And then when we do the things that we do, can we do it in a way and share it in a way that, or maybe not even share it in a way? Like, I honestly, one of my rules of thumb, for every one thing I do in public, I try to do 3 things or 4 things in private. That's my social. That's my ratio. For every one good thing I might post or say or share in public, I'm trying to do 3 to 4 things in private, things that'll never be told or shared anywhere unless the people who are there actually share it.
All right. Well, I love that this episode y'all, like, we just getting straight into this one. I don't know where Rhy was at initially, other than giving that caption when I was talking to Carl for a little bit, but he said, one, I thought you were going like, yo, your faith has healed you. No, your faith has healed you. But during that portion of his ministry, as far as what Jesus was doing was, he would remind people that, because people are like, yo, why aren't we telling everybody? Like, why aren't we letting everybody know what we're doing? And his statement always was, my time is not yet come. My time is not yet come. So where I wanted to go with that is, and this goes back to what we were just talking about, also, when you start stripping away all this external stuff, there is work that you have to be doing in private, and understand that it takes time. It takes time. He talks about it all the time, and he was showing up the Pharisees and the Sadducees when he was 12 years old. But his public ministry, and we'll say his public ministry to the extent where even his public ministry, when he started healing people, he was 30 years old. There was a lot of work he had to do in private before he was ready. There was a lot of prep work that had to be done. There was a lot of growth. And that's where I like a lot of this stuff, man, that everything we say is so important. It's not like, I don't need to go tell everybody doesn't need to know everything that you're doing. And it's not for the sake of being humble. It's just that you're not ready. I'm not ready. We're not ready. And that's okay, because I think a lot of times we have the expectation that when I'm doing it, and this is a pilot trait, and this is something that I've been working on, individually, is not everything needs to be done or shared right now. Not everything needs to be put out there right now. There's a lot of things that we have to do internally. There's a lot of work. And when you start to see the fruits of your labor, I want y'all to look at, y'all seen that picture of the iceberg. And a lot of times this has to do with like the emotional, emotional quotient, just EQ, where you see an iceberg and above the water is just like, man, that could be a 30-foot iceberg. But if you look underwater, I mean, that thing is hundreds of feet deep and wide. All that stuff that you cannot see above the surface is the thing that's there. And that's the work and stuff that you have to do before you can show and demonstrate everything that you're actually doing in this life to get the fruits of your labor. Like, there's so much work that has to be done. And it's all on, not gonna say on you, it's all in you to do that internal work. Because there's an endurance. Again, we'll go the power verse, count up your joint, brothers and sisters. It's like, it sounds like repetitive, but there's an endurance that has to be done in order for you to believe that these things are going to happen. You have to go through that grind, go through that intentional growth, and not everybody needs to see it. Because you need to remind yourself that you're doing this for a reason, and it's not an external reason that needs to be validated by anybody else.
And honestly, that is a flight attendant challenge as well. Right. So flight attendants and pilots, we like to move fast, right? Like we either solving problems or we making people feel good, right? Like we're either super direct or, like, again, worry about the experience. So just I love that you said that, because it's like, again, y'all, like, I think what he said this morning on our accountability call, he's like, you can't buy values. You can't purchase values. Like you can't buy character. Like, this stuff is developed over time. So he was talking about, like CJ and the squad and kind of, the way they developed, like it's been a long time coming in. Like as you're using that example, think about pre-YouTube, y'all. Come on, let's be honest. Pre-YouTube, all the stuff that E was doing prior to that. And CJ will say it time and time again, E was already fire. He was already dope. He was already doing what he was doing. But it wasn't until YouTube came out, until they crossed paths, where now they saw like the opportunity for more reach. Now, had YouTube been out when E first started, I mean, again, we don't know if that it would have been the same necessarily metric or results in that sense. But I look at not having the digital presence, not having social media and YouTube, and he had 10, 15 years of reps in already, then he became public.
Yeah.
So my invitation for all of us is, what areas in our life do we still just need to like keep private until it's ready for the public? And I think another reason why Ray cautions that, or why I believe it's important to caution that, because if you say something publicly and that's what you're known for, maybe you're putting yourself in that category, in that space, then you got to be ready to not just serve, but to answer questions, to be put to the fire, to be put to the test. And a lot of times, people can't handle that pressure, or they fumble, right? They fall apart and they fall away when they just came out too early.
Yeah, they don't have the endurance.
That part.
They don't have the endurance. And we'll go to the other side of it. We'll go to the other side of that too, just for our, we address the pilot and the flight attendant, the ground crew and their traffic controller. You can't be doing all this stuff behind the scenes that continue to try to refine and redefine and improve and all this stuff to the point where you never actually expose yourself above the water, to where no one ever actually sees the fruits of your labor. Like, you can't just keep doing that. So that there's a balance, and brother, I mean, that's with everything that we do in life. There's a balance on both sides. You can do too much and you can do too little. And the balance between those things is like, one, you got to be self-aware, and you got to understand, okay, I need to set myself some deadlines to get this thing done. For us that are fast movers, hey, maybe we need to gauge someone else, or actually take a step back and look at it before we throw that out in front of everybody's face. And that's, so whatever it is you got going on, as we are in the holiday season, there's an opportunity for everybody to slow down, evaluate what it is you have done or have not done, either through procrastination or Maybe we did a little bit too early and I didn't have the endurance to sustain it. What is it that you haven't, in both sides of the counter, what is it that you have done? Take some time to do that. And what happens, and brother, you mentioned it through our Road to Results Summit. You put it out there, some emotional, some holiday spirits. A lot of times we can get besides ourselves or get very isolated. Take a look. Just take a look internally and start looking at those things that we can actually improve and increase in our lives on both sides. Hey, have I been doing things a little bit too premature, or have I been sitting on things for a little bit too long and now people aren't able to see what it is and the gift that I bring? So now I'm feeling like I add no value, but really you're just getting in your own way. Whatever it is, take that time. And it's just truly as growth. And he was talking about on Sunday, just the stewardship of the things that you have. He talked about the stewardship of his finances. What valuable thing do you have that you haven't been stewarding correctly? Take catalog. And like we said in our summit, hey, pick one thing and start stewarding that one thing. If you're great at building relationships, bring value and build relationships. If you're great at making decisions, help other people make decisions. I'm just talking about you and I right now. But do that thing where you steward that thing and stop trying to get validation from other people, because that's the thing that you were gifted to do. Steward that, and as you continue to steward that, other things will be brought before you. And like you said, hey, as these shorts start to come out, they're perfect timing. Like, it's like just put those things out there. Like, you can't say, man, divine timing, man.
Hey, do us a favor, whether you watch this on Facebook or wherever you watch it at, if you've seen any of our shorts that have been, pumping out lately on our podcast or on the Facebook page, do us a favor. If you catch a short or a reel and it really is like speaking to you in that moment, just put a 1 in the chat. You don't even got to explain why. If you could explain why, cool. If not, like, just drop a 1, because we know like the timing is divine. And I'm actually, it's crazy. If I may share. So speaking of reels, I was looking at our comments and I was tripping because this was an hour ago. All right. This was an hour ago. Shout out to Savas. He putting a 1 in there. And a reel just got released. And again, our team is putting out the reel. So Ray and I have nothing to do. We're totally hands off. And this was one that I did called The Grace and Space to Make Mistakes. All right. The title of the reel is The Grace and Space to Make Mistakes. If you see this reel, look at one of the comments. One of the comments from, this is Gabriel Nazario 843. Shout out to Gabriel for being open. He said, I was feeling down because I've made some mistakes and felt unworthy of his love. I woke up this morning and prayed and got in my word again and came to this realization, and then saw this video. Mind blown emoji. God is so good. And the fact that this short had no likes or comments just makes it feel even more like it was for me. Praise the Lord. I love you, Jesus.
Bam. And right there, I like that he ended it right there. Yeah, hey, Gabriel, appreciate you, brother. If you're a subscriber, if not, I'm gonna comment on this and tell you to make sure you subscribe. But he said there's no likes or comments. You can go through, and y'all have probably heard this several times, and we've got reels that have hundreds of views. We have a couple that got like 1,000, 20, 400. Like they're all there. Very few have likes or comments. We're not doing it for public. Yes, it's for everybody, but half the time when Ryan had these conversations, a lot of times we were speaking to, like you said, the divine timing of these things coming out. It reminds us of the things we say, because we are, when they get dropped, there were, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, maybe even a month ago when we actually recorded these, but when they come out, like the message is still real for us. And it's a reminder, like we constantly do these things. It's a reminder for us because we still go through the go through. Like there's things we have to grow through this journey. It's never going to end. That's why it's important to have these conversations. But he said right there, he's like, I felt like it was for me. It is. It's for Gabriel.
Hey, that was like you in Brooklyn. That was like you in Brooklyn. Like I'm sitting in the back, right? I'm standing in the back, and Ray just gets done dropping the mic. He did like a 7-minute piece at the very end. The photographer or videographer, shout out to Joel. Shout out to Joel from Brooklyn, from Bed-Stuy. But my bro, he looked at me. He said, "Hey, that dude right there." I was like, "Oh, Ray." He's like, man, while he was speaking, I forgot I was a photographer. he said I was so in, like he was like, he engaged me so much that I forgot that I was there doing photography. You know what I'm saying? So like, let's just, and I think the other piece I want us to all remember is that everything that we go through, everything that we experience is not for us. Like, it's for us to get through, but it's not ultimately for us. It's for those that are going to, you know, hear the message, see the message, experience it. And whether or not we see the fruits of that, that's okay. Like, I mean, how many Gabriels are out there that see other, you know, other things that we do or what you do? Or I'm talking to you specifically, whoever's putting content out, that it has that same effect, but maybe they just don't share it. Because again, that's why I said shout out to Gabriel for sharing the vulnerability. And just know, Gabriel, like if you are following the pod, you know, you are in Ray and I's prayers for whatever you got going on. Anybody that comments, anybody that shares and is really just dropping in and being genuine, like all of y'all, just know like we are throwing up these prayers. And you know, I just want to share this, right? Like here we are recording end of November, going into the Advent season, right? And so just another concept to think about, right? As Christians, as believers, Advent is the preparation, right? The season of preparation. And we're preparing for the light to come into the world. Because at this time, pre-Jesus, the world was in a dark place. And we can say now that there are areas and we are in a similar situation. And so Advent is that time of preparation, preparing our hearts, preparing our minds for this light. And not to go too deep into it, but like, let's just even look at, depending on where you live, but majority of the places, it goes from really dark and cold, right? And that's the whole point. We're leading up to bringing us to light, even in our darkest and coldest times. So if you are someone struggling mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, financially, just like really lean on this idea, like, and really think like, okay, this is an Advent season. We are preparing for Jesus. And then also, what other areas of preparation do we need to do in our life? I mean, Ray says it all the time. Do the prep work. Do the prep work, and just know that whatever you have, whatever story you're going through is meant to serve the person that's about to go through that. Whatever you are going through right now, whatever you are going to, become triumphant, whatever you're going to be victorious over, just know that that is going to be for someone in the near future that needs to hear what your message is and hear how you got through it, because you are going to be their light. You're going to be their hope. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. The labor of the Holy Spirit, man, is service.
That's it.
Service.
So,
yeah.
All right, Ray, take us home, bro. Like again, we were just kind of, coming into this last month of the year. Obviously, this recording is going to go out probably closer towards mid December. But just in that same frame of going into this last month of the fourth quarter, just if you can just share with us kind of where your mindset is right now. What are kind of your focuses? I know you got an event, and we're praying for all the event for those who are going to be making out to Orlando. You leave next Thursday. I actually leave next Thursday. Danielle and I leave next Thursday as well, but our flight's going somewhere different. But nonetheless, we're both traveling that day. So yeah, what is kind of your what are your thoughts, your mindset like going into this last month, 23?
Honestly, man, I went back and revisited some of the coaching calls that we've had, and I reached out to both E and Carl today and Mellissa, and it's just like the reminder of, you are who you are for a reason, and we can embrace it or we can fight it. And I think throughout this year, just again, as we've talked about, like, we're full vulnerable and transparent, man. It's just I think I had been embracing and fighting all at the same time throughout this year. Like, two truths can exist at one time. Like, I'm a pilot. I move fast, I make decisions, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to slow down. I need to acknowledge other people's, just temperaments, emotions, the way that they handle things, so that we can find that healthy medium. And it's just a matter of understanding that, the prep work is a consistent and fluent thing throughout whatever level of life, level of business, whatever it is that you're doing in a relationship. Understand that those two things can exist at once. You can be content and aspire. You can be comfortable and ambitious. Those things both can exist at one time. So as long as we understand that who we are, you are enough, but you can also want to grow. I think sometimes, man, that we just, especially in the business space, when we're those first generation entrepreneurs or whatever it is that you might be first in your family, or you're just trying to continue to carry on the torch, that other people are like, well, don't you think you have enough? Or why do you think you understand that two things can exist at once, and you can be both comfortable and satisfied with where you are and still have the ambition to want to move forward. And I think that's where I'm at, man. It's like, I'm comfortable with the things that I've accomplished up to this point. And I wanted to slow down, but still make decisions and move forward as a pilot, because I want to move forward in the things that honestly bring me joy. This event that's coming up next week, you and I talk about the conversation. Like, no, bro, like I truly just want to focus on how do we scale and grow the Road to Results podcast. That's not where this started. And I know, again, real estate, yeah, I'll always do it, but that is not where my joy is had. So we'll do those things, we'll utilize it as a tool, but that thing can exist while I do these things that honestly bring me joy. So whoever it is out there, all of you, sit down with yourself, sit with yourself, be where your feet are, and understand that it is okay to be exactly where you are and enjoy the moment and still have ambitions to want to move forward. That doesn't mean you're dissatisfied where you're at. Just, we were meant to grow. In order to grow in the Holy Spirit, in order to grow as an individual and who we are and who we're meant to be, we always have to progress and do the work. We do the work until he comes. Continue to do the work, do the prep work, improve yourself, be the light. Your light can shine brighter, but you have to continue to put more oil in that lamp. Put more in it. And as you put more in it, you're going to draw more people to it. So I don't know who that's for. I mean, I know it's going to come back to me and Rhy at some point and be like, bro.
It always is. It always will. Yeah, be the light, bro. I love it. I love the fact that you just said being still, but still knowing that you can and you should move forward, but being where your feet are. And then I'll just one last piece, because I'm thinking about the kids I'm serving here in Texas this Saturday. Right, the theme of our retreat is chosen. And I'm using Acts 9. I'm using Acts 9, Saul to Paul, where the Lord says to Ananias, he is my chosen instrument. And it's a reminder that no matter where you've been and what you've been through, no matter what you've done, no matter how far apart you are from God and where you're at, like, God is still wanting to use you. Why? Because you are his chosen instrument. That's part of this harmony that he wants for all of us. So yeah, y'all, thank y'all again for just really rocking with us. Be sure to like, comment, and share the podcast. I know we've been getting a lot of requests to getting on audio only, so we are figuring that out. But nonetheless, YouTube has audio, so y'all got to just get on YouTube audio podcast. But nonetheless, y'all, we thank y'all, and like we always say, don't just go with us.
Oh, baby, grow with us. Let's get it.
Go. Hey. All right, fam. Love y'all. Peace.
Love you. Peace.